Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Do you know what day it is? It is Tuesday. Tune Up Tuesday, Tune Up Tuesday. And I am so glad to be in the house this morning. It's been a long time since I've done this, but I was so encouraged and so inspired this week. Yesterday we had a good day. It was a vacation day. People got a chance to relax. It was Labor Day. We were celebrating just those who have worked tirelessly in all of the fields and areas of their lives, and they just needed a day to relax. And so yesterday was just a celebration of and paying homage to you for the labor. And yesterday was a reward day. So just consider yesterday as a reward day. So today is Tune Up Tuesday. I'm so happy to be here. It's September the 7th. I'm so happy to be with you this morning because today is a glorious day. The sun is shining. I'm out at my favorite park. The ducks are here. The pond is here. They got turtles in the water. I'm telling you, I'm so encouraged today that it is amazing. It's just an amazing day to be here. So what is Tune Up Tuesday about? For those who don't remember, let's recite it together. I'm going to say it again. Today we come, thank you for tuning in so we can tune up to tune out. What are we doing? Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for focusing. Thank you for endurance. Thank you for persevering. Thank you for tuning in to tune up to tune out. So what's our focus today? Our focus today on Tune Up Tuesday is endurance. Endurance is our focus today. We're tuning up our endurance. We celebrated Labor Day this weekend. We talked about what Labor Day was all about. It's about the work that we do, the work for the kingdom, the work in our everyday lives, the work in our family, the work in our relationship. And sometimes we can become fatigued. I think the new thing on the block today is called giver's fatigue or kingdom fatigue. You're just tired. And yesterday we celebrated Labor Day, which was a day off for some of us, and that was a reward day. But I was so encouraged about all the sermons that I heard yesterday. Sermon on faith, sermon on how to extinguish your fears, sermon on what's the true nature of why we take communion, a sermon on hope, and then a sermon on humility, how to humble ourselves so that God can get to us what we need to do. And so I was like, okay, Lord, if I combine all these things together, what is that actually saying? He says endurance. Endurance. So what are we tuning out? We are tuning out fatigue. We're tuning out giving up. We're tuning out hopelessness. We're tuning out throwing in the towel. We are tuning out anything, any mindset, any feeling, any behavior, any attitude that would deter us from running our race with endurance, with strength, with strength, running it with muscle, running it with heart, running it with hope, running it with love. So that's what we are tuning up today, honey. I'm so glad for you. I'm so glad to be here this morning. So glad to be with you. So what's our scripture? We're going to come with Hebrews 12 and 1. 12 and 1. Therefore, since we are surrounded by such a great cloud of witnesses, let us throw off every type of obstacle, and the mindset that so easily entangles, and let us run with endurance the race set out for us. One more time. Hebrews chapter 12 and 1. Therefore, since we are surrounded by such a great cloud of witnesses, let us throw off every obstacle and the mindset that so easily entangles us, and let us run with endurance the race set out before us. You know, God has already set out a race for us. And it says because we are surrounded by a cloud of witnesses. Who are those witnesses? Who are those cloud of witnesses? Well, you know, it's our moms and our grandmoms and our grandpas and our aunts and our uncles and our friends and our churches and those all of our gurus. But most of all, it's the angels, and of course, it's our Christ within us, and it's Jesus as our big example, and it's all of the examples that we've had. We've got a cloud of witnesses who have worked tirelessly and effortlessly in our midst, who gives us the inspiration to keep it pushing, to keep it moving, to keep going, not to give up, not to throw in the towel, not to sit on the sideline, but to keep it going. He says, well, how did I come up with this? Well, I asked one of my pastor friends how was one of their parishioners doing, and they said, you know what, even though the weaknesses come, even though this person is bedridden, I can still see within their faces the will to go on, the will, the life, the love, the hope, and the peace. Though she doesn't have much time left, I can still see in her the godliness, the fullness. And then I was watching YouTube, and I saw one of our gospel greats, and they played the video where someone had to hold him up. But even in holding him up, he was still able to hold the microphone in his hand and sing to almost his very last breath. Why? Because he was enduring. He was still on the race which he had been given. He didn't give up. He said, and the song he was singing was, I won't give up. I won't turn around. I will not be defeated. I won't throw it in. So my question today is simply this: how are we enduring? How are we enduring in 2021? Do we have enough in our fuel tanks to do what? To keep it pushing, in our spiritual tanks to continue to run our race? Are we low on our electrolytes? And have we been performing the right exercises to ensure that our mental, physical, cardiovascular, and muscular endurances are all tuned up for our journey? Are we there? Are we there? And then I learned something a little bit while I was reading this. It says there's a difference between stamina and endurance. See, it says stamina is mental and physical. It's the ability of your muscles, stamina is the mental and physical ability to sustain any activity for a long period of time. That's stamina. That's stamina. But endurance it says the cardio endurance is the ability for your heart and your lungs to fuel your body with oxygen. And then muscular endurance is the ability for your muscles to work continuously without getting tired. And so the question is how is our spiritual endurance? It gives us what our body can do. It gives us what our hearts can do, our lungs can do, our muscles can do. But my question is how is our spiritual endurance? Now, we've got a cloud of witnesses. We've got the people who inspire us to continue us to move. We got our pastors. We've got our inspirational speakers. We have books. We have tapes on meditation. We have our friends and our family. But my question is that enough? Do we have the right exercises in place in order to get this thing done? Well, honey, while I was reading, the one thing it came up with was it gave me 8 things to do. But I'm not going to go through 8. I'm just going to only go through a few. The first one is, it says, do you have the said personality? What is the said of the personality? It is specific adaptations to your imposed demands. Do you have that in check? And it says, what is that? It says your body will adapt to whatever you regularly perform. It says, so if you do more of hope but less of faith, then only hope will increase and your faith will stay the same. Well, honey, while we're practicing this endurance, we've got to make sure there's a balance there. We've got to keep that on point. If you're going to work on one area of your life, you got to make sure that the other one is worked on too. The next one is the overload principle. It says to ensure that we are building in the right direction, we must do what? We must do gradual increases. It says the more inspiration you read, the more scripture you read, the more tutorials you have, the more the more encouragement you have, the more encouragement from your loved ones. It says, what does your surroundings look like? What do your surroundings look like? Are you doing the things regularly to increase your capacity to hold on to these things? The question is what does that look like? Are we ready? What does our support team look like? What does it look like for us to be endured? What does it look like for us to persevere? What does it look like for us to continue to move forward? Then the next piece. The next piece is what does your meditation look like? Meditation is a key, vital key to endurance. Why? Because statistics says that a relaxing activity in your week to week can help you to do what? Relax and improve in your ability to navigate through the tough times. Honey, we got to get these things in us so that we're able to do what? Navigate through the tough times. Number 4, find something or exercise that you like to do. In other words, stay in your own lane. Stop trying to perform somebody else's exercises, because some of those exercises just might not be for you. They might end up being too heavy, too strenuous, and if you haven't done the first part of what I said was specific adaptation to your imposed development, then your body is off balance, it's off kilter, and it won't be able to do what? Accommodate what it is that you're trying to do. So find something you like to do. Find an auxiliary you like to be in. Find a task that's good for you. Find something that you know you can do well and you enjoy doing it. This is how we get our spiritual endurance. Oh, but this is my favorite one. My favorite one. Number 5. We got the planes coming over this morning. It's gonna carry us on to the next one. And number 5, we're gonna keep it real. Number 5 is to say, stay hydrated. Stay hydrated. It says, because some of the working conditions that we are in can be hot and humid. Hot and humid conditions. Honey, let's talk about those hot and humid conditions. I can give them to you right now. Hot and humid conditions are simply this. Those conditions are what? COVID-19, financial crisis. They are what we're talking about today. They are not only the financial crisis, but some of our relationships. Not only that, they are also some of our diseases. They are poverty, it's hunger, it's the war. It's some of us is in our jobs. Some of it is the disaster. These are the conditions that can cause exhaustion and, honey, almost lead to death. We've got to stay hydrated spiritually. How do we stay hydrated spiritually? Because Jesus simply told us this. If you drink of me, you'll never thirst again. He told a lady that at the well, and he said, if you at the well, she says, well, what makes your water different than the water from my ancestor Jacob? He said he had to dig deep from this well, and he says, but you have no pail to get this water. And he says, honey, but the water that I give you, you'll never thirst again. You'll never be thirsty again. Ladies and gentlemen, we've got to stay hydrated. We've got to stay spiritually hydrated for our endurance. Today, honey, is Tune Up Tuesday. How are you enduring? How are you feeling? How are we getting through it? Is your exercise too strenuous? Are we in balance? Are we ready for the next level in our lives? Honey, we come here to tune in, to tune up, to tune out. And I thank you for tuning in. I thank you for tuning in. So we can tune up. When we tuning up today, our endurance. What are we tuning out? Giving up. Don't give up. Don't throw in the towel. It's not time yet. Because the race God has for you is just clearly up ahead. So stay hydrated. Get your cardio up. Get your stamina up. Get your mental up. Get your mental processes up by meditation and prayer. Get your physical up by just going around and walking and thanking God as you go throughout your day. And then you'll know that the time has come. Even when it gets heavy, even when the load gets heavier, and even when you have to do some things that you don't normally do, you won't give up. Your muscles won't give out. because everything that you've done thus far has prepared you for your what's next. So you know what your what's next is. Greater, bigger, better. And that's your Tune Up Tuesday.